Hi, David here with the 2023 end of year channel wrap up, and I want to thank you personally for joining me. As a small creator, it is a privilege to have a platform like this where we can share hobbies and projects with people outside of our normal friends and family and gaming group. And please know that I understand that your time is valuable. It doesn't matter whether or not you are a casual watcher or a subscriber. Every moment that you spend watching my videos is a currency that is treasured. So thank you. Now that that's out of the way, let's get on with the show. 2023 has been a busy year for me. There's been some low points, there's been far more high points, but before we get into those kind of things, let's look at some stats. All told, since last Christmas we looked at 43 separate projects. On the terrain side, we made 9 complete sets and 7 individual pieces for a grand total of 65 individual pieces of terrain. I also started doing figure painting on camera this year because I really needed to get through that pile of shame. And in total I managed to get 4 complete forces done, 11 individuals, for a sum total of 148 figures off the pile of shame and onto the gaming table. Let's get the low points of the year out of the way first. The less said about the cosplay video, the better. But at least I got a snazzy new wand to terrorise my players with. Yay! The other, I guess, low point was not being able to complete Vlogmas. Sometimes sickness gets the best of us. However, I still did manage to get 16 of the 24 videos done, and through that 19 separate pieces, so that was a pretty good work rate. In terms of high points, I guess the big one was the Terminator Slow Grow Force Creation Challenge. Yes, it did take up 3 months, but it was really satisfying to be able to complete all of the miniatures for a gaming system. And it was also part of a competition which I entered, and I came in second. And guess what the prize was? Reinforcement packs that I've now got to paint because all of the miniatures for that gaming system aren't done yet. I guess that's for next year. One of the other high points, and one that was actually quite fun, was that I made a few changes to the channel, one of which was the way in which I set photos of the finished pieces. I went away from just doing the static piece sitting there by itself, which, let's face it, is pretty boring. Because we are gamers, what we want to see is the action shot, and so I started laying them out with figures around to show how it could actually be done in your game on the table. And setting up some of those shots were absolutely brilliant. I had an awful lot of fun with that. Time consuming but fun. One of the things about setting up those photos and reviewing the stuff that I've done over the course of this year has highlighted is the fact that I've been concentrating an awful lot on scatter terrain rather than nice big centerpiece models. And let's face it, what you want is a boss battle. So I think next year it's going to be more of the big centerpieces, more of the big projects, because let's face it, we've gone through the basics, we know what we're doing now. Let's get on to some of those big awesome looking things. And as I promised previously, the next video you're going to see is going to be that Dragon's Lair. Got to be done. Do I have any favourite projects this year? Yeah. In terms of terrain, I guess this one, the Humble Cairn. A pile of stones glued together. It is so simple it is untrue, but it leads to so many game and adventure ideas. It can segue into a load of paths for your adventurers, or it can simply be there to hold them up. That one, I've no idea why I didn't think of it earlier. In terms of miniatures, there are so many favourites, it's actually pretty hard to choose. But if I had to narrow it down, I can get it down to 2. Both of them are from the guys over at Printable Dragon. This little fella, he is the one that started my assault on the pile of shame. Ziggy the Goblin Assassin. Really happy with the way that he turned out, and he will be plaguing my party for a number of years to come. The other one was more up to date, and it is this young lady. I was so stressing about doing her, but it is absolutely brilliant to be able to get to do colours other than camo green or black. Yes, there is certainly a large amount of flesh on her. The joy of being able to work out how to do stockings. It's the small things in life, and probably says more about my character than anything else. There you are. So what is coming up for 2024? Well, the Kickstarter that I've been waiting for all year should be arriving round about March, April, so there's going to be a definite superhero element. I've been promising that for ages. It's not my fault. Along with that, I've got a backlog of MDF kits that the family has been getting me for Christmases and birthdays. So there's going to be a whole cityscape to be made there. Looking back over the course of the stuff that I've done this year, one thing that stands out is that I haven't done a great deal around science fiction in terms of scenery. So that is something that I'm going to have to pay attention to. And on the flip side, when it comes to miniatures, there's very little to do with fantasy or D&D. So I'm going to have to get some of those off the pile of shame as well. And talking about D&D, what I do need to do is remember that above all else I am a gamer and a very long time DM. So anything that I am doing, certainly in terms of terrain, it's got to have a purpose within your game. It's got to be something special, and we'll be throwing game suggestions and game stats in there as well. Because if I can terrorise my players, I can help you terrorise yours as well. Hang on. That means we've got to keep it secret, which means they're not allowed to watch the channel. Scrub that, that's a bad idea. With all that being said, we are about to roll into a new year, and there are changes to be made. So, let's make that happen.